Dear participants, I stand on existing protocol to greet you and welcome you to this important event. It gives me great pleasure to share a few remarks during the occasion of the 2021 Ashesi University Annual Education Collaborative event and highlight how the Education Collaborative's work and approach amplify the broader transformation agenda for education on the African continent. At the Association of African Universities where I work, Ashesi University is one of our valued members, and we are proud of how the Education Collaborative approach is helping to advance the continent-wide growth strategy for Africa higher education. You will all agree with me that collaboration and sharing are crucial towards advancing the higher education sector. Through collaboration and sharing, our continent will be able to address and solve some of our pressing challenges related to employability, entrepreneurship and diversity, as well as equity and inclusion. The mission of AAU is to enhance the quality and relevance of higher education in Africa and strengthen its contribution to the developmental agenda of the continent by doing three things. 1, supporting the core functions of higher education institutions. 2, facilitating and fostering collaboration of African higher education institutions. And 3, providing a platform for discussions on emerging issues. So the second point relating to fostering and promoting collaboration is actually relevant to the event of today. Since its inception in 1967, the AAU has pursued this constitutional mandate with the vigor it deserves and can boast of collaborating with key international higher education players for the benefit of African higher education community. It is worthy of note that AAU is currently collaborating with Global Obrial of Spain, German Academic Exchange Service DAAD of Germany, European Association for Quality Assurance in Higher Education, to implement the harmonization of African Quality Assurance and Accreditation Initiative, which is a project funded by European Commission in collaboration with African Union Commission within the context of the Africa-EU Strategic Partnership. This initiative seeks to improve the quality and harmonization of African higher education, as well as support students' employability and mobility across the continent. Furthermore, AAU is currently collaborating with the African Academy of Sciences to execute a project of the Science Granting Council's initiative funded by International Development Research Center of Canada called Research Management Project, whose goal is to fortify the capacity of science granting councils in explicit areas of research management, whose goal is to fortify the capacity of science granting councils in the explicit areas of research management, namely research excellence, research ethics, emerging scientific practices, especially open science, open data, and citizen science, as well as development of online grant management systems. Finally, AA is currently collaborating with Education Sub-Saharan Africa, Population Reference Bureau, and Inter-University Council for East Africa to implement a project called Addressing Faculty Challenges in East African Community within the context of the demographics of African faculty, a project funded by the Carnegie Corporation of New York. The education collaborative work is clearly aligned to the African Union's Agenda 2063, and particularly its Continental Education Strategy for Africa, CESA 1625. The CESA Higher Education Cluster is being hosted by the Association of African Universities and is concerned with harmonizing education and training systems because they are critical for the realization of intra-African mobility and academic integration through regional cooperation, as well as for quality and relevant education and research. I am pleased to note that the work of Education Collaborative is undoubtedly linked to the several objectives of the Continental Education Strategy for Africa. So I would like to highlight 4 areas where the Education Collaborative work is actually speaking to the CISA strategic objectives and also aligns to what AAU does. 1. The Education Collaborative is developing diverse, equal, and inclusive higher education systems through policies. This addresses the CISA Strategic Objective 5, which is to accelerate processes leading to gender parity and equity. 2. The Education Collaborative concentrates on supporting higher education institutions to train students with relevant career readiness, linkages, and build entrepreneurship ecosystems. This supports CISA Strategic Objective 8, which seeks to establish and strengthen labor market information systems, as well as expand TVET opportunities at both secondary and tertiary levels, and strengthen linkages between the world of work and education and training systems. 3. The Education Collaborative is building exemplary institutions through mentorship programs, communities of practice, and a regional hub model. This clearly aligns with CISA Strategic Objective 9, which is concerned with revitalizing and expanding tertiary education by enhancing institutional linkages on the continent and promoting global competitiveness. What Education Collaborative is doing here also complements the work that AAU is currently doing in the African Higher Education Centers of Excellence for Development Impact Project, otherwise called ACE Impact Project. It may interest you to note that a key requirement of the current ACE Impact Project, which is funded by World Bank, is that participating institutions must collaborate with other institutions within and outside their countries of operation in order to promote academic mobility, research collaboration, and regional integration. In this respect, all the 53 Centers of Excellence in West and Central Africa, as well as the 24 Centers of Excellence in Southern and Eastern Africa, are all collaborating with institutions within and outside Africa. And finally, the Education Collaborative is building the first African higher education ranking system to track the sector's contribution towards socioeconomic development of the continent, thereby aligning the systems to foster accountability and sustainability of operations. This initiative contributes to CISA Objective 11, whose goal is to build and enhance capacity for data collection, management, communication, and use. It also complements the African Quality Rating Mechanism, AQRM, which is being implemented on behalf of African Union by the AAU to facilitate quality benchmarking of African higher education institutions. Indeed, the AQRM is a continental tool that affords higher education institutions an opportunity to conduct self-assessment and compare their performance against a set of agreed criteria. The mechanism engenders institutional quality culture and enhances the quality of African higher education. The Education Collaborative is creating a value-based society through ethics and leadership development projects. This is an additional focus that is critical for the continent's growth and development, and it complements the AAU's long-standing leadership and development training programs for African higher education community. The AAU has been implementing the leadership development and management development programs for more than 2 decades. And these programs have benefited African academics, researchers, and professionals. Indeed, participants at our management development and leadership development training sessions have gone on to become vice-chancellors, deputy vice-chancellors, deans, directors, heads of departments, and so on, of various institutions across Africa. In closing, I would like to congratulate Ashesi University for hosting the 2021 Education Collaborative event. I wish all the participants a successful event as we work together to drive high-impact educational innovations to catalyze Africa's developmental aspirations. On this note, I would like to thank you all for your attention.